Hey guys, this is Hydra from Xtrades back with another video, and in this video we're going to go over IREN. This is one of the biggest winners so far in 2025. It went from $5 to 70 in less than like 6 months, which is pretty insane, right? So we're gonna go over this name and go over it in detail. Yeah, let's start off with the weekly chart so we can get a longer term picture of this name, right? So since 2021, that's when it IPO'd, right? It looks like it just pretty much tanked, and it went from $30 to $1, right? So really big drawdown, right? And then over here, for almost 3 years, we kind of like just formed a base, right? We didn't really go anywhere, but we were forming a nice base, and within the base, we were actually getting some nice momentum moves, right? We went from $1 to 5, that's a 5x move, right? And then $5 to 7, almost 8, that's another decent move. Then pulled back in and then tried to break out, pulled back in, tried to break out, pulled back in, right? And then here we actually had a really nice move, went from $5 to 15, right? So now we have some serious momentum, and we're actually breaking out at like this mini resistance level around the $8 level, so that's a good sign. So over here, this is when it really catches my attention, and I'm watching this one closely, right? But then after that, for the next couple months, it pretty much just went sideways again, and I was just chopping around. And then just recently, last June, I had a really nice breakout. So if we now go into the daily chart, this is exactly when you would want to start paying attention to this name as we break that 16 key resistance level, right? And notice that in this breakout, we also see a huge increase in volume, right? These back-to-back green candles are significantly higher than the candles over here, right? So these are almost 2x the size of this. So we got some really nice volume on this breakout, which is almost always a very bullish sign, right? And then here we just chopped around for a while. No real setup here, right? So I wouldn't really trade this. And then over here we formed a pretty nice flag, right? I would not call this an A plus setup just because this candle was a little bit too steep, and then even this candle we pulled in quite a bit. Ideally, flag should be nice 45-degree angle, right? This is slightly more than that. So ideally what I want to look for is a stock in a strong uptrend, and then it just pulls back in very slightly. But this one pulled back in a little bit more harsh, but still decent setup, right? Formed a nice flag, and then it broke out. So technically over here, as it breaks that 20 level, this is buyable. So that's a good setup over there. And then this one's a really good flag, right? So here we're going sideways nicely, not too steep, 45 degrees. And then, yeah, so this is what I would call an A plus setup, right? Nice gap up, holds the gap up, and then forms a flag, and then breaks out higher. So this would definitely be a top tier setup. And I actually did buy a position here on this gap up. I bought using the 5-minute opening range break. So basically what that means is I wait for the first 5-minute candle high to get broken, right? So as soon as the first 5-minute candle high gets broken, I enter, and then I put my stop loss at low of day, right? So I took maybe a couple percent risk, like 5 maybe. And yeah, this one went up a lot, right? It went from like 30 to 70 in like 2 months. So really insane move, really good risk reward setup here, right? So this was really good. I did sell into some strength over here, and then another piece over here, right? So I sold 1/3 here, another third here, because it was just getting really extended, and then it bounced off the 10-day moving average. So I actually added on this candle when we took out the hammer candle high, right? So that's technically buyable there. And then here we were kind of forming a flag, not the best flag, so I didn't buy here. And then again we were getting extended, so I sold more into strength. And then even today I did end up selling this one into strength because we hit that 70 psychological level, right? Whole numbers are always key psychological resistance levels, right? So 70, 80, 90, 100, right? But yeah, and this one's just getting really extended, made a huge move, not much consolidation. But yeah, this one still looks really healthy to me, and long term this could be a really big winner. And I really like that big volume that we see on those green days. So overall, this one still looks really good to me. I'm going to wait for some consolidation before getting back in. But yeah, this is a top tier name, and yeah, one of the biggest winners for 2025. So this should definitely be broken down even more, and you should study this one in depth. But yeah, I hope this was helpful. Thank you guys for tuning in.